Hello guys, welcome to another cheating story. We've got some really exciting cheating story. Watch until the end, you'll be shocked as the last bit will blow your mind. I never thought my wife would do such thing. She left and cheated even if she said she could never do or be with anyone, since we had friends who cheated as well. We had our first child almost a year later. I was with her half of my life, we were 40 years old and now she's in the mental hospital. Here's the thing. She went to visit her parents a week after our almost decade anniversary. I love her as much as I trusted her, even though she manifested drug addiction and personality disorders. She never worked for years and she fights so that she can argue she's always right. There are times that guys and couples would ask her for sex and hookups. Then she would say they annoy her, she's just being friendly, then would ignore about it. More than 15 years of being together, I thought I knew her, but I think I should have. She would call me every day, but days before leaving me she stopped calling. I never heard any of her, no call, messages or anything. I knew it was a sign that something was up. She then finally called, but she's gaslighting me. She forced me to get out of the house that time and lied about wanting kids for almost 10 years. Threatening me was the worst thing she's done, until police called me. There she was, showing up and ready to talk. The police told me she messed around, but I found a way to convince them to let it slide. I asked her what that is all about because I found drugs in her bag while she lied about it. I also saved some videos and texts in a group chat I found her in. It was disgusting and was the most unusual behavior she did that I ever witnessed. Because of that, I got the separation done within the day. Big heads up to my job and family friends. We were fighting a lot after that. She was making me feel what it feels like to be a child who can't fight for her own self. She was rubbing it on my face, making me a slave, ordering me to do things I'm not supposed to. She also pointed out that my health issue were caused by drugs, but it was because of trauma and stress. I have a good job and supportive friends. They told me that I look much better since the separation, but it feels like they are just sympathetic because my wife moved back home over 5 hours away. She brought my pet, which I loved so much, but I have someone already for a few months because I'm with my parents, so basically I'm not alone. Days had passed and I have no idea what happened to her. It wondered me because she never cried when we're together, because there was one time we had misunderstanding. She went for a drive. I was worried while contemplating we could work it out, but she came back all cold. There's also a time where I had to stay over because she wanted to leave the house, wherein she invited some guy to make her feel a woman. I can feel my puke going out of my mouth after knowing this. I am not dating anyone because I thought it was too soon. I don't want it since it feels like cheating. I don't want it because I know what it feels like and I'm starting a new life or so. I went to the gym. Every day, whether I go for a drive or a walk, I go outside to appreciate and look back. I have her blocked on everything because seeing her name would make my heart pumps blood, making me hypertensive, but I wish I could get over my anger. My friends have been supportive, taking me out and making me feel I am not alone. She hasn't even apologized, so I can't. To be honest, I just needed the vent. I was treated worse than I had ever been treated by that one person I thought she would always be there. She continued to attempt to behave normally and remain friends, but not after what she did. I wish I could convey everything I feel to her via email, but it would be ignored. Holding on to my wedding ring, which I know will never happen, it's like holding on to something that will never happen. But today, I will get rid of it. The relationship I had was false. I wish I could get over my anger, but I just can't figure out how to. When did you stop caring about someone you've known for half of your life? It feels like my world has been dependent on her and I can't continue anymore without her. But I've been doing better. I go to the gym 3 days a week, gained weight, and tried to meet new people, although it's hard at my age because I'm almost 40. I also managed to look into making some money. However, my ex-wife is determined to win the argument. A letter from a lawyer was sent to me. A cease and desist order never required a signature. But it was lacked with a reply date and was primarily about her ego. Additionally, I must stop blatantly lying about what she did. The best part was how many typos and grammatical errors the lawyer had. From what I can tell, though, he rarely gets work and sent this to make a few $100s. She wanted a response from me, so I didn't bother to respond. A few days later, she started harassing a friend of mine and gave her pet to her. She doesn't know her. But she made it clear that she was worried about the animal's well-being. When she told me things were over, she had no interest in that animal and wanted to get rid of it. My friends will never speak to her, so it feels like a petty move to try to show that she can get away with what she wants or that she actually cares. I trust this finishes soon. She probably suffers from borderline personality disorder, in my opinion. She drinks a lot, smokes a lot of marijuana, and stays up all night talking to other weirdos who don't have jobs. She also drinks a lot. I want to look forward. However, she only cares about how she looks. To the point where she will spend hundreds of dollars on a lousy lawyer in order to prevent me from taking any action regarding her conversations with my friends. Although I am aware that she is ill, I hope that she recovers from her rude awakening. Update: some 2 pointless rants is welcome with any guidance or encouragement. When I think back, I guess I can't believe some of the ridiculous things they asked for when it was over just a few days after D-Day, when she realized that money doesn't grow on trees. She asked if she could still use your weekend car to run errands and get groceries. This was subsequent to attempting to remove me from my own home, costing me my pet, which I cherished like a youngster, boasting about playing with others and having her companions undermine me. She would also, without asking nicely, point and demand, make me lift dishes or boxes and place them where I wanted them to be. I do it out of nowhere, requesting tools and equipment, among other things. I don't know if anyone else has gone through something similar, but thinking back on it and laughing about it now makes me realize how awful people can be when you're not what they want. Even though I tried to avoid contacting you, our mutual friends feel the need to gossip today. They didn't need to tell me that my ex-wife was in a different relationship and didn't want me to be as happy as I am to be free of that toxic cheater. Even though she left and said it was to work on her mental health, it still feels like a punch to the throat. It appears to be the last lie. Editing this will take a few hard days. Thank you to everyone. I didn't get much sleep last night, but your suggestions and comments helped with the next update. Since my estranged wife scorched earth on our lives with cheating, abusive, and threatening letters, among other things, it has been 4 months since I last posted. I had a lot of trouble, tried to focus on being positive, but I still had panic attacks whenever I was alone with my thoughts, especially at night. A few months ago, I wrote a post about dating and asked if it was too soon. I'm grateful for everyone's suggestions, which I followed. I'm very happy. I won't go into much detail. However, we truly connected. We always agree on the kind of future we want to have because we value each other's opinions. Additionally, I've never had sex that was as physically and emotionally satisfying as my encounter with her. Every day, we talk for hours. We have such a strong connection that we have no interest in seeing anyone but each other, despite the fact that some may believe it is too soon. It will improve. You can only start a new relationship when a relationship ends. I still think about my ex, but I don't feel anything but sadness. She took up so much of my time. Sad that even though her new boyfriend might be a nice guy, he doesn't know what to expect. But I don't care about that. I can't wait to wrap up this year with my new girlfriend in my arms. I now believe I have a purpose. You will complete this edit. I appreciate the gold. You all are incredible. I am appreciative of the concerns and support. Although a more comprehensive explanation was provided in a subsequent comment, I fully concur that it might be premature. We're both taking baby steps, but at the very least I can say that it helped me realize how unhealthy my previous relationship was and that there is something better out there for everyone. This wasn't something I rushed into but felt natural. Final update. I had my first child almost a year ago, and she is now in a mental hospital. I don't think my posts were memorable, but I thought I'd post again to try to cheer someone up. In August 2020, my 35-year-old wife of 38 years left me. I discovered that she had been conversing with other men, women, and other individuals by entering chat rooms. She lied for years about wanting children. And then tried to turn the tables on me by claiming that I was using her for children. She threw me out, made me give up my pet, which was the closest thing I had to a child, and tried to ruin my life once. She even sent me a cease and desist letter from a lawyer who didn't even bother to check the spelling because it basically said that I can't defend myself in private conversations with her. She was mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically abusive, and I never heard from her after September 1, 2020. It hurt, and I was lost. Late in October, I posted about seeing a girl I knew was 50-50 split of people saying I was too early to start dating, but I went for it. I felt like my life was just waiting to end, and I even considered speeding it up. I am glad I did. We were still together a few weeks after my divorce was finalized, despite the roller coaster ride. I congratulate myself on the birth of my first child. It's refreshing to see how my life has changed in ways I never imagined a year ago. She called me on a private number earlier this year, and she was my ex-wife. She informed me that she had attempted suicide while she was in the mental hospital and that she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and BPD. They mocked me when I told her and her family that she had it during the breakup. She began by sharing her sad story, then went on to describe the men and women with whom she had lived. She asked about getting back together, and I told her right away that I was with someone and that we were expecting it to hurt her. She even tried to suggest that she could be a good co-parent with me, so I believe it was to confess and start over. That too, I rejected. Since then, we haven't talked much about divorce proceedings or things. We desired to reconnect with one another. I will never, ever get back together with her. Even if I was on my own, she now recognizes that my life would be better without her. It destroys her within, and as insignificant as it sounds, I'm happy she had no regret for the family she ruined. I do not share her regrets. Thus, I am familiar with the post-D. I am aware of the emptiness, but it cannot improve. I've never considered it a possibility. But my beautiful child smiles at me every morning, and her amazing mother doesn't give up. I am happy I did not. Let's see how the community responds with comments and additional information from the OP Underappreciated 54 begins us off by following your story from the initial posting. Bravo to you. Your ex-partner is dysfunctional and must deal with a baggage warehouse. She now recognizes the results of her actions. Because she is now on her own, she might have visions of you and your new family moving around and making her husband feel like crap. Having your family criticize him is not exactly going to guarantee you a bright future. They can now all remind her that she abandoned you and that you now have a happy family while she has nothing. Thank you. Ops response. Thank you for remembering my posts. Before she called from the hospital, I won't lie. When she heard I was with someone, I always wished I could have been there to witness it. It felt good for a kid to tell her that while she was in a mental hospital. Although I never intended her harm, I believe I owed it to her to tell her that she did not endanger my life, merely the one we shared. Funny thing is that her mother called me right after the call from the mental hospital. She told me how much better she is and how my call helped, then suggested I killed some random girl, which is odd timing. Attempting to suggest that I cheated and that my girlfriend was pregnant for more than 9 months at the time of my child's birth. She called once more to thank me. This woman has no concern for my life and encouraged my ex's bad behavior. She simply wants to demonstrate her good character by supporting me. I simply put her calls in voicemail. Congratulations in the eye. It's wonderful to hear only one question. You and she have been together a long time. When were the warning signs that she might have BPD? Did it begin like that? According to the API, around 5 years prior to D-Day, she was seeing a doctor and attending groups for childhood trauma. But I knew it wasn't just her random behavior at times. Manic episodes started to come back to me. She was barely noticeable the last year we were together. She took out a lot of loans, couldn't keep a friend for more than a few months, and threatened to kill herself, among other things. She was dependent on prescription and illicit drugs. I wanted to get a new sports car because our SUV made her look old. I thought it would be good, so I mentioned it to our family doctor, but nothing could be done if she was asking for help that she never thought she was wrong. It was all childhood trauma, but the most heartbreaking moment was in the middle of the breakup. I begged her and told her it was just an episode and that she needed help. When she called back from the mental hospital, she acknowledged how right I was. But the damage was done. Not to mention, she still has deceptive qualities where she uses her illness to emotionally manipulate people and stay home on long-term disability. I wish I could have helped her more. But nothing I did would have changed that if I was complacent. I think it would have eventually been an open relationship to eventually her being with someone else. I think a lot of people believe they could have done more. But most of the time it's unavoidable. Last comment coming from Butter as Man Tequila. But where is your pet? Who has the pet? The OP closes us out. What a great story. My cat was older, but she was the darling. Everyone loved her, but I had no choice. I needed to give her up. A family member had a coworker say she was looking for a cat. I was nervous. My baby deserves only the best. When she showed up at the door, the young lady looked like an angel. My cat is also anxious, but when she came in, they became best friends. It's amazing that she took my older cat, sent me pictures frequently, and spoiled her with treats. The worst part was hearing her cry when I put her in the kennel and cleaned her up so I wouldn't break down thinking about her. But I was blessed. She went to the most ideal owner I could have hoped for, and I made a new friend.